Welcome to video 1 of the BCN System walkthrough. In this video, we'll be accessing our new BCN website, going through the process of adding new categories in products, and finally, choosing between delivery areas and price per distance. It's a lot easier to complete these walkthroughs using either a laptop or desktop computer. When you're ready for walkthrough 1, you should have received an email with a link to your temporary admin page, as well as your temporary login details. If you don't have access to them, then let support know by one of the means at the end of the video. The first time you log into your admin, after you've changed your password, you'll come to a page where you'll be asked to agree to the BCN terms and conditions. These are the same ones that you agreed to when signing up. At the bottom of the page, enter an alternative email from the one that we provided, and add a phone number that can be used to get in contact with you. You'll then be taken to the GDPR and data protection page. This is important for customers in the UK and the rest of Europe, as it's required by law, so we advise you to complete this process as soon as possible. You can come back to this page at a later date by going to the left side menu, clicking the settings option, and then at the bottom, selecting GDPR/data protection. If you're a customer that's not within the UK or the rest of Europe, you can use the lower data protection button on the right hand side to opt out due to the different laws. Once you've completed everything so far, you'll be taken to the dashboard. This contains statistics about your site which will be populated when you get live and start getting some bookings. The first thing that you need to do to get started is to add your product categories. On the left hand side menu, go to Products or Inventory, then Categories. Here you'll see a list of your created categories, where you're able to edit pre-existing ones or create new ones. To add a new category, go to the top right of the page, where you'll see an option to either add a single category, or underneath, where you're able to add multiple categories. You can do so by splitting each new category with a comma. Once you've added a category, you'll either be taken straight to a page where you can edit the new category, or you'll have to click on the created category in the table. On the category page, the first option in the center, this is just a link to the front end of your site. Next to the category link, you can click the visit button to be taken directly to the page on the front end of your site. Next, you can edit the category name again. Display options allows you to show or hide the category for your customers. Finally, we have the featured toggle, which is a setting that you might not have access to on your site, as this is only used by newer templates and custom designs that have the option to display categories on the homepage of your site. When setting a category to featured, you'll also want to add a category image, which can be done on the bottom right of the category page. Moving on, we have the category description. You'll want to make sure that you add a description to each of the pages on your site, as these are important for your ranking. We'll be going over adding your descriptions in walkthrough 2, as well as using the content generator. Once you've added a category, we can then move on to adding products to the system. So on the left side menu, go to Products or Inventory, then Add/Edit Products. To add a new product, go to the top right hand corner, type in the product name, select the main category it belongs to, then set the product type. Then finally, click the Add button, where you'll be taken to the product page. Once again, going over the product page, the first section of the system details, where you can change the previously entered product name and type. For most sites, there'll only be two options for the product type: bookable for the products that you want customers to be able to book through your site, and display only for products that you want to be visible on your site, but you want them to be booked in a different way, such as by phone. Finally, in this section, you can set the maximum number of bookings that can be made for this specific product per day. Most of the time, this will just be set to the quantity of the product that you're currently viewing. So if you have 3 of the exact same bounce houses, you can just set this value to 3. Next is the bookable options section, which is where you can set the product to allow multi-day bookings. Change the multi-day drop-down to yes to allow it. To change the number of days that your multi-day products can be booked out, you can change the value within Settings, Website, Multi-day, then Maximum Hire Length. Underneath this setting, you also have a choice of how you want your multi-day prices to be calculated, either just by multiplying the product price by the number of days booked out when the setting is toggled off, or you can set different multi-day prices on the product page, which we'll go over later. Back to the bookable options section. Here you can also set the product to be available for overnight bookings. It's also where you can set up parent and child, which we'll go into detail about in walkthrough 3. Next, we have the toggle to set the product to not allow discounts. When turned off, the product is then considered to be an extra item and won't be used to calculate any discounts, and customers won't be able to start a booking with this item. Underneath, we have the categories, which is where you can edit the main category of the product, and also set any additional categories. The rest of this center section of the page is the description, content generator, and the meta title and description, all of which we'll be covering in walkthrough 2. Moving on to the right side of the page, at the top, you can set the product image. Then underneath, you can change the price for the product, including adding a discount for the product by toggling on offer, then setting the amount that you want to be decreased from the product price. Next, if the product is set to allow multi-day, and the set per product per day prices setting is enabled, there will be a section to add each of your multi-day prices for the product. Add the total price for each of the days in each of the fields. So if the cost of booking the product for 3 days is $300, you would enter $300 into the 3-day field. Finally, for this page, we have the display options. Set your products to featured on the home page if your site's design allows it, allow your customers to book your product, or set the product to be hidden from your site. On the top of the page, you'll see a few tabs. The one next to details allows you to add extra images of the product. Then the next tab allows you to add the sizes and suitability. This converts between feet and meters for you at your convenience. Then we have the pricing and profitability, allowing you to note the price that you brought the product and also keep track of the profits that this product is bringing in. The final tab allows you to keep track of the tests and repairs that you've done on the product. Once we've added in all the products, we can then move on to the settings and whether you want to use delivery areas or price per distance for when the customer is checking to see whether their address is in range. On the left, go to Settings, then Website. Then, on the top of the page, you'll see several tabs. Select the one that says Delivery, and you'll be taken to a page where you can select which of the two you would like to use. Delivery Areas allows you to add the specific locations you would like to deliver to, and Price per Distance allows you to deliver to people within a set distance. However, for the moment, Price per Distance isn't available in the Republic of Ireland. Also, premium members aren't able to set minimum order values per the delivery ranges. And it's also not always able to be used when creating a new custom booking from the admin page. If you do choose Price per Distance, there are a few options underneath that need to be answered. The first, whether you want to use miles or kilometers, depending on your preference. And the one underneath is the message that will be shown when the customer enters an address that's out of your set range. If your delivery ranges are flexible, we recommend you add your phone number and email here, allowing the customer to get in contact with you. Once you've made your selection, press the Save button on the top right. To go to your selected option is on the left. Within Settings, scroll down to either Delivery Areas or Price per Distance, depending on the option selected. We'll be going through the Price per Distance option first. If you would like to use Delivery Areas instead, go to the timestamp on the screen to take you to the Delivery Areas section. The first time you enter Price per Distance, you'll see a warning informing you that you don't have a base location set up. So entering your base address in the field above the warning. When that's done, the section will close, but when opened, you'll see that the warning is replaced by the selected address. If the entered address is correct, but the base location isn't on the correct spot on the map, you're able to drag and drop the house icon to the correct place. Once that's completed, or if it already was in the correct place, you can make sure you don't move the base location by accident by pressing the Lock Base Location toggle under the entered address. Once you've added a base location, you'll see that the Range Setup table becomes available to edit. Here you'll see a list of default ranges and prices. To use an example from the default table, if a customer is 20 miles away, then the cost of the delivery would be 40. You're able to edit the maximum range and the price per distance. You can view whether you're using miles or kilometers by viewing the measurement on the map. The chosen measurement for the distance was set in the main settings when selecting price per distance. On the table, you're able to add any additional ranges by inputting the range's maximum distance and its price, then finally pressing Add. Also on the table, you're able to delete any additional ranges. After any changes have been made to the table, make sure to press the Save button, saving all changes throughout the table. You can see the possible areas that might be covered by the entered ranges by using the button on the map that looks like a target. This will allow you to see the radii that the ranges will cover. This is more to get an idea of the areas that will potentially be covered, as when we enter an address within the end location box above the map, you may see that the address is within one of the smaller ranges. This is due to the chosen path to get to the location. Underneath the end location is where the results are displayed, such as the distance and the cost. Or, if the address is out of range, you can see the entered warning message from within the settings. You're also able to see the address entered if you hover over the truck icon next to the end location. Once everything's complete, to go back to the admin page, press the button on the top left. That's it for price per distance. Go to the timestamp on the screen to go to the next part of the video, where we'll be moving on to the different ways that you can receive support. Moving on to delivery areas. Viewing the table and the areas that have already been created, the first editable input field is the area name, which is what the customer sees in the drop-down list when they're selecting a delivery area on the booking page, when they're checking to see whether their delivery area is in range. Next to area name, we have two options, where at least one of them has to be filled in. The town name, and then we have either air codes, postcodes, zip codes, depending on your country. For the sake of the walkthrough, we'll be grouping these fields together as postal codes. When the customer selects the option from the drop-down, the entered part of the address gets pulled through automatically into the rental form and will not be editable by the customer. You can also set a charge for each delivery area, and if you're a premium customer, you can also set a minimum amount of money that needs to be spent to deliver to someone in this area. Above the table, you can choose to select whether you want delivery areas to be available only during certain months by selecting split delivery areas by month. You're also able to add area messages, which will be displayed for each of your delivery areas. These can be used to let customers know the minimum order value for the selected area. To add new delivery areas, you can do so by using the button on the top right hand corner, which will then take you to a page where you can then enter in all the relevant information. As mentioned previously, you're able to leave either the town or the postal code blank for the cases when you deliver to several large areas, when the town overlaps multiple postal codes, or if the postal code overlaps multiple towns. If you're a company that offers collections, above the table you'll see an orange warning box, and at the bottom of the list is an option that allows customers to come and collect the order, which when selected, create a new area. If you delete this area, you'll see that the option becomes available again at the bottom of the warning. You can also create an option for when the customer is not in range. Set the charge to -1 when adding a new delivery area, and leave the town and postal code blank. You'll get a warning at the top of the page informing you that this is the problem, but this can be ignored. When a customer selects this option, they won't be able to continue with the booking, and instead, a message will appear. To change the message that gets displayed, on the left, go to Page Content, Snippets, then search through the snippets to find the one that says No Delivery Page. You're then able to add your message. We recommend adding your phone number and email so that the customer can get in contact with you, just in case they live close enough that the delivery is possible. Then you can select whether you want to do the delivery or not. That's it for delivery areas. Now we're moving on to the different ways that you can receive support. The first support option we have available is the use of our help guides, where you can find videos and written guides about the system. You can find the guides on your admin page by the button with the question mark on the top right of the page. The next option is BCN Insider Tips. Rather than messaging Aftab or Eddie directly, which is ill-advised, we have a private Facebook group that you can join, filled with our customers who've gone through the same process as you. If you wish to speak to us directly, feel free to contact us by phone or email. Another way to get support, if you're visiting our Bouncy Castle Network website or your BCN admin page, you can speak to us directly by using the chat box on the bottom right of the page. Then finally, you can submit a support ticket while on the admin page. Scroll down to support, and then click Submit a Support Ticket. That's it for this video. Before watching the next one, you'll need to make sure you've added all your categories and products, and also set up either your delivery areas or completed the price per distance setup.